Hello noble ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and today you will have unprecedented access to behind the scenes like it was never granted before. Now, as you know, on this channel in the last couple of years I've been putting out a monstrous amount of content. One of the reasons being that, of course, I've been delegating some of the aspects of said production. Whenever a video is being made, you need to take care of research, you need to take care of script writing, you need to take care of filming and then editing. As you already know, when it comes to the research, I share the workload with some of my great researchers in the team. I never delegate script writing, I do that myself. But when it comes to editing, at one point in my career as a YouTuber, I thought, you know what, I might have someone to do at least the initial edit, so that they take care of all the mechanical things, the b-rolls, the images, the chromatic aberrations and whatnot, and then they just send me the draft so I can just finish it up. And instead of putting 15 hours, I only need a couple of hours to perhaps add a couple of interesting manuscript illuminations, images, and maybe swap things around a little bit for average watch time's sake. Oh, and the music. I like taking care of the background music. In fact, let's change it. With that being said, I was looking for an editor, I couldn't find one, and at one point my wife volunteered and she's like, hey, I can edit some of your videos, particularly for the second channel, Metatron's Academy, which is entirely language dedicated. So at one point we decided, hey, you know what, dear, you edit my second channel's video. And then she edits a few, I check them out, they're perfect. So I'm like, you know what, I don't even need to check them anymore. Just you edit them and I'll upload them as they are, I trust you. Okay, so it's a well-oiled machine and everything is going well, but then on one day she was busy editing something, I was busy writing something, and then I thought, you know, I have this other video for the second channel about polyglots, we'll get there in a second, what am I gonna do? Like, who is available to do it? So I think of a friend of mine, and I'm not gonna tell you that it's Salvo. So this friend of mine, I sent him a message on WhatsApp, and I said, mate, do you have a free afternoon today? And he says, yeah, absolutely. And I knew that he didn't have a job at the time, so I said, hey, do you want to make some money? I'll send you a video, you just edit it, send it back to me, and, you know, I'll pay you. So he said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. So I sent him the raw footage, he jump cuts, removes all the mistakes, sends it back, and I said, listen, it's good, it's just me talking, it's like a talking head, so people are gonna get bored, and I'm gonna get a 2 minutes average watch time, so how about we spice it up? So I tell him, let's add some b-rolls, and he asks me, what are b-rolls? And I tell him, listen, an A-roll is just me, the YouTuber, but a b-roll is, if I say medieval castle, you just show a nice clip of a medieval castle. If I say the sea, you show a clip of the sea. And it makes it easier to, you know, reach a more acceptable average watch time for the algorithm. So he's like, oh yeah, I'll do that. So he works on it again, sends it back to me, and here I am. And I'm thinking, well, it's not really a video about history. It's not like I need to double check that he's putting the right picture of what? The Japanese language? I mean, come on, it's fine. So I'm about to click upload, but then I stop. And I'm like, you know, I don't feel comfortable with this, let me watch it just to make sure. So I'm watching it with my drink in my hand, and I go like this. And I spit the contents on the drink on my keyboard. Hear this out. Salvo is a beautifully candid soul. He just doesn't think of bad things or evil things. He's just nice, such a nice guy. I had reached a part in my video where I was really strongly complaining in, you know, a very boiled Italian diluted blood way about fake polyglots. And I was like, oh, these frauds, they are just frauds. And the reason why I get so upset with people that pretend to speak many languages is because you see these like videos with this influencer who says, hey, look, I speak 16 languages. And then literally for the next 60 seconds, they have 27 jump cuts and they pretend to know these languages. They don't, and the only reason why they do it is because then they sell you their books on how they didn't reach fluency in any of those languages. So it naturally pisses me off as a person who spent, I want to say, a better part of a century learning languages. So in that part, I was going quite vicious about this. I was saying, you know, all of these polyglots, all of these people, I hate these people. These people absolutely disgust me. I find these people disgusting. They disgust me. This is what I'm saying. Now here's the b-roll my friend put. He hears people and he's thinking, if he says castle, I put a castle. If he says the sea, I put the sea. So he says people, I'm gonna put people, right? And then I see, while I'm saying these things, a clip of people. But they were all black. So my friend put a clip of just a bunch of random black people walking around minding their business, while in the background, mind you, I'm speaking about polyglots, but I'm not using that word now. All I'm saying is, oh, these people disgust me. I'm absolutely disgusted by these people. I'm like, oh my gosh, Salvo, what are you doing? So I call him and I tell him, Salvo, you're gonna make me, I'm gonna lose my career. This was gonna be a PR disaster. And he's telling me why, what happened? Well, I said, you put a clip of black people. And he's like, yeah, what's wrong? That's people. Well, I know they are people, but listen to what I'm saying. And he goes, yeah, you don't like polyglots. I'm like, let me get this straight. My haters are going to clip this, put it out of context, and use this as proof that I am now racist. And he goes, oh no. And then we laugh our heads off. I mean, it was really funny at the time, but I was this close to post it. So yeah, behind the scenes of the highly professional Metatron production for you. Anyhow, this was story number 1, but we do have story number 2. And I'm not trying to be clickbaity here. If you thought story number 1 was crazy, you wait for story number 2. Now, this is an awesome late 15th century medieval hat. And you know what else is awesome? The kind sponsor that made this video possible, private internet access. Whenever you are browsing online on an unprotected device, such as your phone, computer, tablet, console, your device is transmitting a great amount of information which can be viewed by various different entities. A virtual private network hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel and server infrastructure. This way, it shields your digital life from the eyes of those that are looking to exploit your private information. Thanks to private internet access, you'll also be able to utilize all sorts of websites and services online that would be otherwise restricted depending on your physical location. For instance, streaming services such as Netflix, Amazon Prime and more will have a different library depending on where you are. Watching Netflix without private internet access is like paying for a venti caramel macchiato, but you only get a cup of water to drink. Okay, that's too American of a metaphor for me. I'm Italian, let's make it Italian. Watching Netflix without private internet access is like paying for a real Italian caffè espresso, but you only get a cup of water with sugar. So simply use the VPN to change your IP address to one of the 91 countries available and gain access. Private internet access is also available for all platforms: Windows, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and with a single subscription you can protect an unlimited amount of devices. Private internet access is the world's most transparent VPN provider with over 30 million downloads. They never record or store user data, and their no-log policy has been proven multiple times in court, which is why I trust them. And this is also risk-free since there is a 30-day money-back guarantee and a 24/7 customer support. So, what are you waiting for? Use my link in the description, and by doing so you will get an 83% discount on private internet access. That's just $2.03 a month, and you will also get 4 extra months completely for free. And massive thanks to Private Internet Access for sponsoring my video. Alright, so I'm thinking to myself, I need to find someone like professional editors who can take care of the more boring kind of section of my job so that I can focus on the more creative and crafty parts. Now, then we finally find and run into my current team of editors, and they're all absolutely fantastic. But as is often the case, when you start something anew, at first there's a little friction perhaps, because you need to kind of adjust, and then eventually you get to a position where everything works smoothly like it does now. So, to test and kind of make sure that we are on the same page, I'm filming a video. It's one of my vanillas. It's about history, military history, and I send it to the editor. The editor does the jump cuts, but then she also adds B-rolls and images. And of course, when it comes to a professional editor, you can expect them to, know how to do all of these things, put the effects, put the nice filters, do the little interactions and transitions, add B-rolls at the appropriate pace and all of that, but of course you can't expect a professional editor to be trained in historical arms and armor. Clearly I knew that, so I'm like, you know what, this is a video, when I talk about the Romans, the Greeks, just put historically accurate images, and then if there is a couple of mistakes and we need to replace a few, I'll let you know, you send me the draft. So they do that, they send me the draft, I'm watching it with my drink, and I'm like, I'm looking at it, the draft, and I'm thinking, oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. It was an absolute bloody mess, but from an artistic standpoint, it was phenomenal. Editors, I love you, but I gotta tell the noble ones this one. It's gonna make their day. So, at one point on the video, I'm talking about Roman soldiers, and I see an image of a Spartan from like 300. And so I'm thinking, what happened there? Well, maybe she got a little confused. So then we continue, and then I'm speaking about barbarians in the sense that I'm saying something in the lines of, the Roman legions were deployed into the northern front so that they could fight the barbarians, and I see a picture, might have as well been Conan. Now don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this shit, and I mean technically she's correct, there was indeed a barbarian, but I kind of had to, write a note for modification and kind of let her know that when you say barbarian in the classical period perspective, we don't mean that, we mean this. And I sent her a few pictures of barbarians. Then I start talking about the Vikings, and I start seeing the TV series with a few like leather jerkins, but the best one was the medieval knights, because the medieval knights that I saw, it would have been scandalous even for D&D. Anyways, you know what I'm thinking? I did ask her to make those changes, and then I told her, listen, in order for us to avoid the next time I say the word archer, we get Legolas, I think a good thing would be to replace Google with the website Manuscripts and Miniatures, which is a website that filled with all sorts of period sources and iconography and manuscript illuminations, and it does have a tag system, so you write archer and you get not this. So after that, she was really nice and she thanked me for the website recommendation, and after that we never had a problem like this. But I thought, you know what, I'm thinking now, I should have kept it, because it was great. Like, I would have wanted to see, not only would have been perfect for an April's Fool post, now that I think of it, now I would pay money to see your reaction. Like, imagine, I can only imagine what the noble ones would have thought. You guys would have thought, hey, Metatron was lobotomized against this wheel, and he literally forgot the last 11 years of production and content, and he just doesn't know anything. He just knows push the button, say something, and Conan the Barbarian is the enemy of Rome. Not Carthage. It was Conan all along. I hope this gave you a little giggles, and I hope you didn't spit your drink. Thank you very much for watching and for your support.